Hello and good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this ELi Publishing second live webinar dedicated to all ELT teachers. My name is Silvia. I'm the marketing manager here in ELi Publishing, and I just would like to share with you just a few technical details about this session. You can already see our speaker. Hi, Russell. Welcome.
Hi. Good to see you.
Before giving the floor to Russell, I just wanted to let you know that this video will be recorded. This session will be recorded, so you will soon be able to watch again the video through our ELi Multimedia, which is our YouTube channel. So follow us on YouTube or on Facebook as well, and share it with your colleagues as well who couldn't make it for today. Then by tomorrow you will receive a certificate of attendance in a PDF format. Check in the spam because sometimes it just go there, I'm afraid. And questions and answers. There's a chat box for you. So if you're following us, if you're watching us through the smartphone, follow the question mark icon. You can write questions there. Any comments, anything there. If you're watching us through the computer, there's a toolbar with the questions box. One thing to bear in mind that you won't be able to see other teachers' comments or questions, okay? But I will be able. So we will reserve a space dedicated to questions and answers at the end of Russell's session. But feel free to write down any comments during the sessions. I will read them aloud for Russell, of course, okay? Another thing, sorry, remember to download a very short handout that Russell kindly has put together for you. It's a brief, summary of all the links he will be exploring with you. It will be very handy for your archive, your study. Okay, so remember to download it before the end of this live session. Just click under handouts, or following if you're watching out through the smartphone, there's a sheet icon. Okay, just click on it. Yeah, I think there's everything. Further information about all our products and everything else is available on elionline.com. But now I'm very pleased, to welcome Russell Stannard with his talk about a new way to blend tools and techniques for the modern language classroom. So let's hear all about his, secret. And Russell, just to let you know, I'm sure you all know him because he's very popular in this small world, which is the ELT. He's a multi-award winning of educational technologies. He's also founder of teacher training videos. He received awards such as the British Council Eltons Awards. He's also an associate teacher trainer at NILE. And that's it. I think there's even more to say, but I just wanted to give you the floor, Russ. And thanks again for being with us today. Enjoy the session, all of you.
Lovely. Cheers, Sylvia. That was really lovely. Thank you for that lovely introduction, and a big thank you to ELi Publishing to invite me along to today's session. I'm going to make this, as I always do, a really hands-on session where I'm going to show you a few technologies. So it's going to be really practical, everybody. Just one thing, you can't actually chat with me in the chat window. The system that we're using today, it does allow me to present and show you things, and we can share a few links via Sylvia, but it's not the usual system where you can chat and I can read your chats. But I know there will be some people who follow my website and who follow the work I do, and so welcome to you as well. I know there's a few of you who have come along from my website, and it's really lovely to be doing this presentation. I'm going to dive straight in, and I'm going to dive straight in by talking and showing you some examples. This is also just to mention, this is not going to be a commercial talk. I'm really going to be talking about my ideas, but I might just connect to a couple of ELi's products through that, but it's in no way a commercial talk. This is very much about me training you and opening up your ideas to some things that you could possibly do. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to jump over, one second, just going to jump over to hang on a minute. Yep, I'm just going to jump over to screen share. So I'm just going to click on, hopefully now you can share you can see my screen. I'm just going to close my webcam so that hopefully now the screen's on. I'm just going to close this window down here, and I'm going to open up my slideshow. And I'm going to dive in by just starting the talk and telling you a little bit about one of the most popular technologies that's on the internet at the moment, and that is wordwall.net. Now, wordwall.net has become very, very popular to the degree that there are literally hundreds of thousands of language teachers using Wordwall. And what I'm going to do today is show you a couple of ideas with Wordwall. I'm going to demonstrate how Wordwall works. You'll love it because you'll realize straight away how useful it is for language teachers. But what we're then going to do is we're going to link it in with some of the material that we've got available to us from ELi, and I'm going to show you a couple of really clever things that we can do. So I'm just going to jump out of the Wordwall screen. I'm going to jump over to Wordwall here. This is Wordwall, okay? You can create a Wordwall account for free, and you can have up to 5 games for free. Okay, now if I was to click on create an activity, you will notice that there are absolutely masses of games that you can create. In fact, there's something like around 30 different games on one website. So it really is a very, very nice website. And I just want to show you, before we actually play a game together, I just want to show you an example of what I mean about how easy this website is to use and the fun you can have with your students. So if I was to click over onto, I'm going to do a game called Unjumble. And what I do is I'm just going to write a few sentences about me. So I'm just going to put Russell, okay, I'm just going to call the title Russell, and I'm going to say Russell. Let's imagine that we want to practice the present simple. Russell lives in Poland. Okay, that's my first sentence. Watch how easy this is. And I'm going to click on the second set. I'm going to now I won't write any more sentences. In fact, let me just do a couple more. Let me just come back. I'll add a second phrase and just say Russell speaks Spanish and French. Okay, I'm learning Polish at the moment. I'll do one more phrase, then I'll put Russell is learning Polish. Okay, just 3 sentences. All right, so we're practicing the present simple and the present continuous. Now you see how easy it is for me to make the activities. Okay, wordwall.net. Now if I click on done, the game is actually ready. And if I was to now click on start, you'll see that straight away I can play this game. And this game, I have to put the sentences in order. It's a drag activity. Russell lives in Poland. And then it tells me it's correct. And then it moves on to the next question. And this one says, Russell speaks. Okay, so then I have to drag it here, speaks Spanish and French, and then I get that one as well. And then we come to this last one, and again, Russell is learning Polish. Okay, so I have to drag that there. Okay, that's just one of 36 games. It gives me my score, and that's how easy it is to play these games. Now, when you make a game in Wordwall, if you want the students to do it, it's very easy. You just click on set assignment, and then you click on start, and then you copy the link, and you can share that with students. Now, if students are in the class and they've got their mobile phones, you can even click on this button here, and it will open up a QR code. Okay, and then the students can then play on their mobile phones. So this is a very easy technology to use either in class or with your students for homework. Now, I like this particular website, and as I said, when I made my first video about how to use WordWall, I literally had thousands of teachers emailing me within 24 hours saying, Russell, this is incredible. Where did you find this technology? Now, obviously, over time, more and more people know about WordWall, so I'm presuming some of you already know, but maybe you don't realize just how many things you can do with WordWall now, including you can add in audio. And I have provided a special video at the end in the handout that Sylvia mentioned, where I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do with WordWall. Okay, in the video, it goes into real detail about using audio, and I'm going to show you some more tricks a bit later on. Now, what I've done today is I've prepared an activity for you. And so I thought what I would do is I would link it in. I was just looking at the ELi books, and I thought I'm going to link it in with a video that I really liked on the ELi site I'm just going to jump over to it now. Okay, we're going to watch a particular video. Let me just going to get this out in 1 minute. Let me just click here so I can just good. Okay. See if I can move this a little bit. Great. So I'm just going to come back here, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to dive into these resources that are available to us. Okay, if I just click back, we've got all these resources that are available, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some of the audio and video features that we've got. So I'm going to click here on video, and I'm going to play you a really great video that focuses on a student called Sophie, who's a German student who goes to live in Japan. And I'm going to play the video, and then we're going to play a game based on this video. Okay, so I'm just going to jump over and click on that particular video now. Okay, and there it is on the screen. I'm going to play you this video. It's very short but very interesting. It's about Sophie who moves to work or study in a school in Japan, and then we're going to play a little activity connected to this. So, okay, this is from the ELi Digibooks. Okay, and I think this one's Planet English. Yeah.
Meet Sophie.
Hey everyone, my name is Sophie. I'm originally from Germany.
For 6 months, she went on a high school exchange to Japan.
The very first thing that I loved about my Japanese high school is also the very first thing I got to do every morning, which was going to my school. I just loved riding my bicycle to school every single day. Number 2 of the things that I loved in my Japanese high school was that you weren't actually allowed to wear your shoes inside of the building. So that doesn't only go for houses in Japan, it also goes for a lot of public buildings like schools. So basically, when you enter a Japanese high school, or probably any school, there is a place where everyone takes off their shoes. And everyone has their own shoebox, which is called kutsubako. The third thing I really loved about my Japanese high school, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the shoes thing, was my school uniform. I was super excited to wear school uniform because we don't have them in Germany.
But wearing a uniform wasn't always great, especially in the winter.
You're not allowed to put on jackets over your school uniform because it's a school uniform. Number 4, I really loved the bentos. I don't really think I have to explain that because food is the best, right? And Japanese homemade food, it's the absolute best. The second thing that I didn't like so much about my Japanese high school is the cleaning.
In Japanese schools, the students have to clean their own classrooms. Sophie's experience overall was really great. She learned a new language and a new culture, but she admits it was still hard.
I think it's quite normal that if you go to a foreign country, there will be problems. So there will, for example, be misunderstandings just because of the culture or because you don't speak the language that well. And don't get me wrong here, I'm still really glad that I went there. It was an amazing experience. It just wasn't all that easy. Because at the end of the day, exchange is not a vacation or a holiday that you spend with your family and friends. It's life, and life just has its ups and downs. So lastly, I just wanted to ask you, have you ever been on exchange, regardless of the country? What were the problems you faced there, and how did you solve these problems?
Okay, I love that video. I think one, because I learned quite a lot of things that I didn't even know about Japan myself. So that was really interesting from a cultural point of view. I loved it also because it was a German girl speaking in English. And I really like it that we have this global view of the language, okay? We're going to be speaking English with people from all different cultures, not only native speakers. So I really like that. And another thing I really liked about that video, apart from the fact it was very informative, was the fact that it also provided the subtitles, and I think that's a really good thing. Now what I've done is I've made a game, and if I click over to my activities, I've actually got a game. I'm going to quickly show you the game, and then I'm going to share the link to this game and get you to play it. So this is the sort of thing that you can do. You can link the content in the book that you're using, and in this case it was Planet English, and working with the videos, and then make these online activities using WordWall. So in this activity, it's simply a true or false. You've got 59 seconds. The sentences will come along. She liked riding her bike to school, and that was true. And then the next one comes along. She didn't clean her classroom after lessons, and that was false, etc. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to click on set assignment. I'm going to click on start. Okay, I'm going to ask you for your names. I'm going to click on start. I'm going to click on copy. I'm going to copy this link. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come back, and in the chat window, I'm going to share that with Sylvia, and she's going to pass that on to you. So let me just paste that in, and hopefully Sylvia, you'll be able to pass that on to the students, and then the students can do that activity. Perhaps when you've done that activity, if you could write in the chat window just to confirm. So I know that you're going to share that, Sylvia, into the window, so that the students can, the participants in our session today, can actually do that activity live and see how nice it is to create activities using WordWall. Okay, so just let me know, Sylvia, when you've managed to share that into the chat window for me.
Yes, give me a second. I'm going to share it with the entire audience. Okay.
Lovely. Okay, so I really like this idea, just why Sylvia's doing that, of just you taking content from the book. So I use an example from Planet English today, taking the content from the book and then building activities around that content. Now this could be done in the class, or this could be done for homework. And what I like about WordWall is that you're not restricted. You have so many different games. Remember, you can make an account and play this game. You can play up to 5 of the games for free and try it out. It's a really, really popular app, and it goes really nicely with the course books that you're working with, and particularly because to make these games is so simple. Okay, so hopefully now some of you will have clicked on that link and just quickly do that game. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. While you're playing the game, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about WordWall. We're going to jump on afterwards and look at some other things. But just to quickly, while you're doing that, I will just talk a little bit about WordWall. Hopefully some of you are trying out that activity now. When you do a WordWall as well, you can click on the results and immediately see the results of an activity, how many students have done the activity, how many students have completed, etc. So it's really, really good in that way as well. You get detailed information in the results of any activities that you've set up. You can see here, for example, different activities that I've done, and I can click and see how many students got the question wrong, how many students got the question right, etc. I really use WordWall a lot. And actually, because it's free, it's even something you could recommend to your students and get them to create an account and make their own WordWalls. As you can see, I'm using it all the time. Now, I'm just going to give you a couple more moments to see if some of you have managed to do that activity, and then we're going to carry on with the presentation. So one of the things I'm suggesting is, Yep,
Russell,
Sylvia?
sorry, apologies for interrupting you, because
Yep.
some teachers actually say that the link doesn't work for them. I'm not sure what the problem is, but
I wonder if that's when we're swapping over from, maybe then it's going to be too complicated to do it that way. I was hoping that we might be able to swap the link in. There should be no problem with the link, guys. That it's definitely the correct one. So it might
yeah,
be
but
that
there's someone who connected though. So for some other it's working.
Okay. No problem, no problem. Okay, guys, we won't do this too much today because it's going to slow down the flow of the presentation. I was just hoping to give you the opportunity to see how good WordWall is and the types of activities. As you can see, I created that activity and linked it to the book. Okay, I'm just going to click actually and have a quick look and see if any of you have managed to do that.
Corina has a score of 12.
Lovely. I can see actually that 15 of you have already done the activity. So I'm just looking at the results now. Okay, so brilliant. You get the idea, guys, that could be a really nice way of you linking the content and making perhaps some of the homework activities that you do with your students more interesting. Okay, don't forget, in the handout that we're going to give you at the end of the presentation today, we will be looking at WordWall, and in the video that I've provided in the handout, I go in much more detail and show you lots of ideas that you can use. Remember, you've got 36 different games. I've only had time today to show you 2 of them. Okay, let's just have a quick last look, see how many people, 17 of you have completed the activity. Let me carry on with the presentation now, okay, because I'm going to show you some really special stuff. I just want to jump back into my presentation just very quickly and just so we've looked at WordWall, we've done that activity with Sophie, which, as I said, I think that is a fabulous video. I'm going to come back in and I want to talk a little bit about YouTube. Now, I know many of you use YouTube, but I probably would imagine that many of you don't know what I know about YouTube. And the reason for that is that I've actually done some courses with the YouTube company, and because it's actually Google, and because also my YouTube channel has 70,000 subscribers, and so I actually get access to some very special information about YouTube and the way it works. And I'm going to show you now just some of the things that you might not know that you can do with YouTube. So we're going to jump over to YouTube. I hope you're all watching the screen now, because I think you're going to find this very special. Did you know you could do this? Let me show you. I'm going to do a search for something really typical in English. We'll do shopping in English, okay? So I'm going to search for shopping in English, okay? Did you know that when you search in YouTube, you can go to the filters, and in the filters, you can say, okay, I only want videos of 4 minutes long, or I only want videos of 4 to 20 minutes, or I want longer videos. So I want videos that are only 4 to 20 minutes. So I'm going to click on that there. Now I'm going to go back to my filters again, and I'm going to click on I only want videos with subtitles. I really like videos with subtitles, which is one of the reasons why I like the videos in Planet English. So now we've got videos from YouTube on the subject of shopping that are only between 4 and 20 minutes, and they've all got subtitles. Now watch this. I'm going to show you some lovely tricks that you can do. We'll click on this video here. So we're going to click on this video. It's going to open on the screen. And of course, as usual, there's always an announcement at the beginning, some publicity. But now the video starts. And notice, of course, that this video has got subtitles, and that is great. However, did you realize this? If you search for videos with subtitles, you can click here and open the transcript on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, this transcript, you can actually use this transcript to control the video. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Watch this. I'm going to turn the video on and play it, and then I'm going to keep clicking on the transcript, and it will jump and play that part of the transcript for me. So if I click here,
or generally when you're shopping or buying something.
so now I'm going to click again on this one here.
When you visit the shopping mall, or generally when you're shopping or buying something.
Okay, let's imagine I'll repeat again. I'm going to click on it.
When you visit the shopping mall, or generally when you're shopping or buying something.
Let's jump to another part of the video. I'm going to come down and click here.
But before we get into it, in case you're new,
And now let's jump back again, because let's go back. We want to click here.
when you visit the shopping mall, or generally when you're shopping or buying something.
Now that is so useful, that ability to be able to repeat and repeat and repeat. Now I'm learning Polish at the moment. Polish is a very tricky language, and I do this all the time in Polish. That is, I will use this transcript. It's on the right hand side here. You click on show transcript. The transcript comes up on the screen, and then what you can do is use that to control what part of the video you play. So that is a really useful trick in YouTube. But I'm now going to show you some more things that you can do, and we'll do a really simple example for this. Let's imagine that there's a sentence or a couple of words that I don't understand. Let's say, for example, I don't understand buying something. Let's imagine that I'm Spanish and I'm trying to learn English, but I don't understand what buying something means. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come over to Google Translate. And again, this is a really useful tool. I'm going to paste in the English and find out what that is in Spanish. So buy something, and in Spanish it's comprando algo. Okay. I can actually click and listen to that sentence.
Buying something.
Okay, now what I can also do is I can save that in my word list. So I'm going to click there and save that word. Okay, now let's go back to the video again, and maybe there's another word in the video that we don't understand. Let's say, for example, this one here that says jokes. Let's imagine we don't know this word, okay? Or let's say missing the jokes. Let's just put those, let's just leave it the jokes, okay? So I'm just going to copy those two words. So I'm going to copy them. I'm going to come over to Google Translate. I'm going to close that one down. I'm going to paste in jokes, and then it tells me that in Spanish that's chistes or las bromas, okay? And again, I think, okay, I need to study this word, so I'm going to put it into my list. I'll just do one more, okay? Let's go back again and imagine that we're studying this a bit later, and again, there's another word that we don't understand, which is, let's say, the word expressions. So we copy that word, okay? And then we jump back to Google Translate, delete that one because we've already saved it. We paste on expressions, and it's more or less the same word in Spanish, expresiones, and I've now got the translation. Remember, I can always listen.
Expressions.
So I'm going to add that to my word list. Now, where is my word list? Where will I find my word list? Well, if I click here, it will open up my word list on the right hand side, and I can see these phrases that I've been trying to learn. The first one in English is expressions.
Expressions.
The next one is the jokes.
The jokes.
And the last one was buying something.
Buying something.
And this is exactly what I do. In fact, if you look down here, you will see that I have 18 phrases saved at the moment. I'm just going to delete. If I want to delete a phrase, I just click on it and it will disappear. All right, so I'm going to delete those 3 phrases because I'm not learning English. But what you can see is many of my current studying of Polish words, okay? So when I'm watching YouTube videos or watching videos in my course book in the same way, and you could do the same with Planet English or any course book you're using, you can add in the expressions that you want to study. Now, a lot of people don't know you can do that, but I'm going to show you now something incredible that you might not realize. Once you've got your phrases that you've saved, okay, in your phrase book, okay, and you can delete your words from your phrase book anytime you want. You can always clear your phrase book if you want to do that, okay? So if you ever need to clear your phrases, you can. But watch this. I've got 14 phrases at the moment in my case, because I'm learning Polish, in Polish and in English. But of course, that could be anything. It could be English to Spanish and English to French, etc. Okay, watch this. I can click on this button here, and it brings those words into a lovely big list for me. Okay, so look at this. Look what we've got now. We've got the sentences in Polish on one side and in English in the other. Now, I'm not going to select them all. I'm just going to grab in fact, we've got them in English and in Polish. So I'm just going to grab these sentences here. Don't worry, this is also in the video that we're going to give you in the handout. I just want to show you this so that you realize how powerful this is. I'm going to copy those sentences. Remember, we got the English on this side and the Polish on this side, okay, because I'm studying Polish. Now I'm going to jump back to WordWall, and I'm going to go to my activities and create activity, and I'm going to do matchup, and I'm going to paste in all of those words, and it immediately creates the whole set of cards for me, where I've got the English on one side and the Polish on the other. English on one side, Polish on the other. English on one side, Polish on the other, okay? So I'm going to call this shopping, because this is what I was doing, let's say, shopping in Polish, okay? So that's the title, and if I click on save, done, I can now play this game. Look how quick it was. I took the sentences from YouTube, I put them into Google Translate, and then I transformed them into WordWall so that I can play a game. And in this game, what I've got to do now is to try to move the correct word over to do the translations, okay? So I'm going to look, for example, let's just try to do one here. Look for infused for optimism, okay? And this one here, I can't name 3 things. And I can then test, and I'll just quickly chuck in a few more, just very, very quickly. Let's just, I won't even do them correctly. Let's just quickly put them in. You can imagine that I can play this game, and then of course I can submit and see how many of the sentences I got wrong or right. So this ability to take the sentences from Google Translate and use them is very, very clever, and I do this all the time. Remember, you can search for an expression, and then you just click here and add it to your phrasebook. Now, if we go back to this list, I'm now going to show you something even more interesting that maybe you don't realize that you can do. So I've just showed you an example in WordWall. We've got the sentences in English on one side and the sentences, in my case, in Polish on the other, because I'm studying Polish. In your case, it's obviously going to be English and French, or English and German, or English and Spanish, or whatever language. If you're teaching English, presumably the language that you also speak. Now watch this. I'm going to copy those words again. Okay, very easy. Don't forget, all of this is in the video that we're going to give you at the handout. Ellie has prepared a special handout for you at the end that will give you a connection to videos that will show you exactly how to do all these things. But watch what I'm going to do now. This really is magic. I'm going to go over to Quizlet. Okay, I'm a big fan of Quizlet. I use Quizlet all the time to study my languages, okay? And I'm going to create a new study set. So I'm going to click here on plus, and I'm going to click on study set, okay? Now watch this. So I'm going to just click here, and I'm going to put title, I'm going to put shopping in Polish, okay? And then I'm going to import the words. So I'm going to click on import, and I'm just going to paste those words in. And just like I did in WordWall, I can make a whole set of Quizlet cards in just a few seconds. I just click on that button and the cards are ready. I now have the sentence in English and the sentence in Polish. Okay, look at that. So many of you probably take a long time to make your cards. You can literally just make them in seconds if you use that technique. It really is a fast way of making your cards. And now, of course, I can start playing the games. So I could play flashcards game. I've got the word in Polish, and this one means outbreak of the war, and then if I click over, it says that on the next page, and then I can click on etc, etc. Okay, so this is absolutely brilliant, this ability to take the words from your Quizlet, yeah, from here. Okay, remember, all you need to do is just search the word and click on this button here. Okay, and that adds the word, and when you want to open up your list of words, you can just click here and it opens it up. And all you need to do is to click on this button here, and it will then produce for you. You have to click here, import the data. It will produce for you a lovely list of all your expressions in the 2 languages. You can then copy them. I always make the spaces, the 2 different columns bigger, just so that it's easy then for me to copy the words that I want to copy. And I don't always copy all of them. Okay, that is something that I do in Polish, and I'm not exaggerating, literally every day. I'm often watching YouTube videos and I'm doing that. Now, of course, we could do exactly the same thing with the video content from the book that you're using. I showed you, for example, today that wonderful video from Planet English, and there's obviously loads more videos in there. There was a fantastic one I was watching today about ice sculptures. This is a really good idea. I'm just going to go back to YouTube and just remind you of a couple of things. So I tried to show you a couple of really special things in YouTube. Okay, what I tried to show you is that you can open up the transcripts if you use the filters. So let's just do this one more example. If I say, for example, eating in a restaurant, okay, and I'm going to show you a couple more tricks as well at the same time in English. Okay, so I'm looking again for kind of examples of language practice. Okay, remember, I can click on filters and I can control how long the video is. So if I only want a really short video, 4 minutes, I can do that. And if I want to, I can also make sure that the video has got subtitles. And now I've got obviously videos with subtitles. So you can do that. So this time we've got very short videos with subtitles as well. Okay. Now, when we click on a video, and let's just very quickly click on this video. We always know, of course, that there's always a few advertisements before you watch a video. Okay, and again, we've got the subtitles here. Did you realize just a couple of other things that you can do? Sometimes when you're playing a video, it's really nice to slow the video down. For example, when I learn Polish, sometimes I like to work with native material. I like to actually listen to real people speaking in Polish rather than something specific for language learning. I like that as well. I'm not one of these people that thinks everything has to be from a native speaker and has to be authentic. No, I also like material that's been made specifically for language learning. I think it works really well, and I'm on my 4th language. But what I do like sometimes is to listen to native stuff. And one thing I really like is that I can click here. And if I want to, I can slow the speed of the video down. And a lot of teachers don't realize you can do that. So if you want to, you can click here and slow the delivery of the video down and make it a little bit slower. Now, I'm going to show you one final trick. There are many, many tricks. And in the video that we've given you with this, we've covered about 10 different or 5 or 6 different, can't remember how many now, different features. One other thing that you can do in YouTube which is really nice, is if you get lots of videos around one topic, you can save them all together in a playlist. Now, if I click, let's imagine this video here. I really like this video and I'm going to save it. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to click on save. But I'm not going to just put it anywhere. I'm actually going to create a new playlist called Eating in English. Okay, So I'm clicking on, I'm creating a Eating in English playlist, okay? This is really useful because you can collect together lots of videos on one topic and then share the list with your students. So I'm calling it Eating in English. I don't want it to be private. I want this to be public because I'm going to share it with my students. I click on Create. So I've now added that video to my Eating in English playlist. Now let's imagine that a few days later, I come across another video that I really like, okay? And I click on this video and I think, wow, this is a great video. I want to have this in my Eating in English playlist. So I can click here, okay? And then I can click on Save. And then it says, well, where do you want to save it? And I'm going to say, save it in my Eating in English playlist. And now that video will be saved in that playlist. Now, let's imagine just one last time. I find a week later, I find another fantastic video about eating in English. Okay, and so again, I decide I want to save this. I click here, I click on save, and I choose my Eating in the English playlist. And so I've now got 3 videos in that list. Now, where do you find your playlist? Well, you just click on the left-hand side, and you should see that you'll see them here, and you can click on Show More. And look, there it is, Eating in English. And if I click on that, there are now 3 videos in that playlist, and I can share that with my students. So I could even tell them, right, this weekend, I want you to listen to 3 videos. Okay, this is a great idea. I make playlists all the time for my Polish. Okay, so if I was to click here, you can see how many playlists I've got, literally hundreds of playlists. Okay, and I'm going to just show you a couple of my playlists. For example, so if you could scroll down here, you can see all sorts of playlists that I've got for all sorts of different things. I make playlists for my guitar, but here's a nice example. Look at this one, Polish present simple. I've got a playlist of a collection of all videos using the present simple in Polish. Now, when I'm on the bus or I'm on the train or I'm in the house doing the washing up and I want to practice my listening skills and I want to listen to lots and lots of dialogues in the present simple, I come over to this playlist and I click on play all, and it will play the first video, then the second video, then the third video, then the fourth video, etc. Playlists are really good. They're great for organizing your life. I have playlists for my guitar. So I play blues guitar, I'm learning blues guitar, and I've got all my favorite lessons all together in one playlist. I've got a playlist of songs that I want to learn on the guitar, and I've got them all collected together in another playlist. I've got playlists, for example, of all different things that I'm interested in. Okay, my guitar studies, we've got a playlist here of shopping in English. Look, 3 of my favorite videos. Probably I shared that with a group of students before. So another really nice feature in YouTube, learn about the transcripts, they're really useful. Learn about the filters, teach your students to use these filters. They can search for videos as well using these filters, but teach your students as well how to use playlists. Playlists are so useful, they really can help your students, okay? So that's today's presentation. I've covered a few things. I've showed you, first of all, word wall, which is one of the most popular technologies on the internet currently at the moment. And I showed you a nice example of how we can combine using word wall with for example, a video from Planet English, the one about the Japanese or the girl Sophie living in Japan, which I found really, really interesting, how I can link content from our course books with activities to perhaps make the content more interesting, or to do it in different ways. Okay, and then we went on to look at YouTube, and we looked at videos, and we looked at how you can search for videos, looking for the filters, using the filters to find videos that have got subtitles, to find videos that are only, say, 4 minutes long or less than 4 minutes long. And then we looked at how you can take the transcripts and then use those transcripts to save your content in Google Translate. Really, really useful. Something I do all the time. At any moment, I can just click and revise, okay, all my Polish sentences. Okay, I've got my list of all the sentences that I'm currently learning, and then I can transfer all of those sentences into Quizlet or into Wordwall and play games with them. I really hope that was useful. I'm going to jump back now. I'm just going to turn off, in fact, what I'll do is I'll just turn off the screen capture, and I'm just going to come back in a minute. Let me just come back in and see if we can then bring it in, just to see if there's been any questions, Sylvia. So let me just click back on here to show all webinars, see if there's been any questions, anything. I hope that was useful, guys, and I hope you got a few ideas from that. Any questions that come up?
Thanks, Russell. I'm sure, all teachers are very pleased, that you share all these tricks. They're always useful, I believe, to, let's say, alternate a little bit, engage even more, the classroom. Most of the videos and, word lists and everything is, they are in the textbooks, but sometimes, students need to learn as if they are distracted. Let's say they are doing something else. So by filling it, a gaming, gamification style activity is possibly the best solution. So
yeah, no,
yes.
I mean, listen, I just absolutely agree with you. And just to say, I'm a big user of course books. Okay, I don't do my courses in Polish without. I'm still a big fan of a course book in the classroom. What I'm just showing you, just like you said, Sylvia, is that this idea of sometimes you just want to do things in a different way. But I still think I still build my lessons around a course book. I think that the course book is still one of the most important things. And when I study languages, I always have a course book.
Sure. For example, actually, following what you're just saying, one question is about the average lesson plan time we need when we are going to use this kind of tools.
Really good question. Yeah, and listen, this is just coming back to the point you've made again. Guys, you've only got limited time. So a few things. Number one, learn your course book well. The better you know a course book, the quicker you can plan your lessons. So I'm always a big fan of, I use a book, I learn it well, I can make use of the book. You can build these extra activities to bring in more variety, but always start with a book. Always start with the content in the book, the digital content that goes with the book. You can then add in some extra activities. Now, the reason I showed you Wordwall is because one technology with 30 different games. So you don't have to spend hours and hours learning loads and loads of technologies. Much better to learn just a few technologies, but learn them well. So don't spend hours and hours looking on the internet for new games. Learn a few of the best technologies. YouTube's a great example. Wordwall's a great example. But essentially, you build your course around a course book. It gives the students security and it helps them to understand exactly what they've done. They can revise. It's very difficult to revise a lesson if you've got all different material all over the place. That's why I really like working from a course book. So, one thing I'm definitely saying is a few technologies, they make the lesson can be a bit more interesting and add more variety, but make sure that those technologies that you choose are ones where you can do lots and lots of different activities. Hence the reason why I showed you Wordwall, because it's got so many different games in it.
Thank you. And talking about technologies, I assume we are all, digital immigrants, as once we used to say. So a teacher is asking, how do you learn about new technologies? Where do you get your ideas? How hard it is? Is it? Sorry.
Right, okay, well, it's very interesting because teachers always think because I have this YouTube channel that I am really good with technology. I'm not actually very good with technology. I find it quite difficult. I had to really kind of decide, okay, I'm going to confront the problem, and really kind of deal with it. So I'm not one of these people that naturally just learns all these technologies. For example, I don't have hundreds of, in fact, I've never played a computer game in my life. I don't have a computer game console. I don't have the latest telephone. I mean, this telephone that I've got is about 4 years old. I'm not one that's really into learning loads and loads of technologies. My website is a good place to go to, because what I do is make videos that show you how to use these technologies. So you can go on to teachertrainingvideos.com and I will show you, okay, look, this is Wordwall, this is how it works, etc. This is YouTube, this is how it works. And I don't have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of technologies on there. The website is very popular. I have something like 74,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I'd really recommend, if you want to learn a bit about technology, make use of my website, teachertrainingvideos.com. And the videos are free. There's no charge. In the handout that Ellie is going to share with you, you can watch some of my videos and you'll be able to get a feeling how useful they are to you. Okay, so that might be a really good starting place if you are looking to find some interesting technologies to use in your teaching and learning. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Russell. Talking about the handout, just because some other teachers are actually asking for it, remember to download it yourself. So now you can download it. If you go under handouts, there's a PDF. It's just one sheet of PDF, but with all the links, the useful links that Russell showed you during this session. Okay, so remember to download it. You can do it from your toolbars, basically. Okay.
Yeah, that handout will really be useful to you guys, because you can just click on the video and watch me showing you how to use YouTube. Watch me showing you how to use Google Translate and Quizlet. Watch me showing you how to use Wordwall. Okay, so it's not a handout with just a link to the technology. No, it's a video that will show you very slowly and very carefully exactly how these technologies work. Okay, and so it's going to be really useful to help you if you want to start to experiment with using some of these technologies.
Thank you. And last question. So, right, I think you have already said something about that during the session, but do you like to use authentic YouTube videos or ones made for students? Possibly, pardon me if you have already mentioned it before.
No, it's a really good question though, and it needs emphasizing, because I think sometimes the discussion about the need for native authentic material gets a little bit exaggerated. Sometimes authentic material can be too difficult for the students to work with. I think a really nice example, and this is the reason I said to you today, because remember everyone, I've never used Eli's books. This is the first time I've come across, and I looked at them and I said to Sophia, I really like these videos. This was a great example of something that is semi-authentic. The language sounded very natural. Sophie spoke very, very naturally, but obviously the language was fairly controlled so that it would allow a student to kind of learn and work from the material. I have to say, in my experience, that often you need those steps. It doesn't have to be that you're always listening to authentic material. Sometimes it's useful, of course it is, sometimes useful, because it helps you to understand how good are you getting. But we have to remember that these days, when we speak English, very often we're speaking English to other people who are non-native speakers. So it's really important to make sure that we get the opportunity to listen to lots of different accents. And one thing I noticed about the course book is that that has that in it as well. And I think that this is a really, really good thing. It doesn't always have to be English and American and Australian and Canadian people speaking. It's good to have a German person speaking in English, or a French person speaking in English, or a Spanish person, or a Japanese person, or a Chinese person speaking in English. I think this is really, really important. So in answer to your question, no, I'm quite keen on semi-authentic material. I think it can really help our students. It doesn't always have to be authentic.
Okay, so thank you. I think that's all for today. Well, remember, if you want to hear more about Russell videos, just follow him on teachertrainingvideos.com. But if you also like to hear more about our new course book, Ready for Planet English, just visit our website, elionline.com. yeah, get in touch because you have our details. Should you need any, I don't know, the link to the recorded video or any or to the handouts, because I can see some of you are not able to download the PDF, but it's there. So remember to do it. You've got other few minutes left to do it. And so my thanking, message goes to all of you, because you were so many coming from all over the world. It has been such a pleasure. And of course to our speaker, Russell, for your experience and all your tricks. And I really need to probably follow a course on YouTube, Philip. So thank you so much, Russell. And well, see you all next time then.
Lovely. Yeah, thank you very much. That was great. Enjoyed it.